Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to our Coffee with CMM seminar number 23, and it's a ladies only session. So we are very happy, pleased to welcome you to our seminar, and thank you for agreeing to give a talk
Of course, no
from our
problem.
group, Creative Minds Media, aka CMM, and you're Georgia Cantos, and you've got your colleague with you, Lauren. So thank you, very welcome. So today's the topic is will writing, and I understand that you're from Hugh Jones Solicitors,
Yes.
and you specialize in will writing.
Yeah, so we're specialists in court protection matters and private client law. So within private client law, we do will writing, and we also put in place lasting power of attorney, and we do probate as well. So when somebody's passed away, we help administer their estate. Court of protection is more focused when people lose mental capacity. So it's when the court steps in to help them manage their financial affairs and their health and welfare as well. But we mainly specialise with financial affairs. But I am a private client lawyer, so I do specialise in will writing.
That's excellent. Thank you. A normal misconception is that you do not need a solicitor, especially in our community. They think that they can just write the will and then the will be executed after they have departed. But what do you think? Is it important or is it compulsory to have a will done by the solicitor?
It's not compulsory to have it done by a solicitor, but there are very specific requirements for a will to be legally binding. So in order for a will to be legally binding, it has to have the right drafting, so it has to have the right wording, which obviously a solicitor would be able to advise on, but it also needs to be executed in a very specific way. So when you sign the will, you have to do that in the presence of two independent witnesses. Although it's something that you can draft up yourself, I always recommend getting a solicitor involved, because if anything was to ever go wrong, so if there was slightly, if the will could be read in an incorrect way, then there's nobody there to back up what you intended, basically. And there's also an insurance sort of back, the insurance is important as well. A solicitor is insured, so if anything ever goes wrong, you've got that backup as well financially.
Perfect. That's great. Can I just ask? So, can a will cover both money and personal belongings as well?
Absolutely.
Like
So,
we have lots of jewelry and stuff. So, how do we divide that? So, do
of
we need to
course,
write down each and every article?
absolutely. Yeah. So you can specify exactly what personal items you want to go to specific people. You can also do a clause in a will, which we often do, which is a sort of a flexible clause, which allows you to write a separate letter of wishes, which details every single item. Because often you obtain more personal items as you grow older. So you can write it down in a separate letter, which is kept alongside your will. Although it's not legally binding, it's very morally binding. So if once somebody's reading your will, they'll be able to see, actually, they want this piece of jewellery to go to this person. But if you want it to be legally binding, it can be put in your will.
Excellent. So I have just one last question for you, and then I'll let you carry on with the session. And then I've got lovely ladies; they'll be asking you millions of questions. And so, just one thing is that is there a period of time that the will is valid for?
So that once you write a will, it's valid for the rest of your life. But obviously, if your circumstances change, it can mean that parts of your will are no longer valid. So if, for example, if you leave a gift to a specific person that passes away, that gift is now redundant. And what often happens if you don't redo your will is that it goes by what we call the law of intestacy, which I'll touch on in my presentation. But it's the UK laws which guide exactly how your assets pass. So we always recommend, if you're doing a will, you want to review it, particularly if your circumstances change, but also just generally every 10 years or so.
That's great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And I look forward to the session now. Over to you.
Lovely, thank you.